Hi there, folks. This is Sean Broderick. I'm at the PDAC 2017, and I'm talking to Wendell Zerb. He is the president and CEO of Exeter Resources Corporation, which is a company I've been following for quite some time. And why? Well, because they are sitting on the one of the world's largest undeveloped gold-copper deposits. This huge deposit down in Chile called Caspiche. And he's going to tell you guys about what this company is up to now. Wendell, could you please speak to my viewers?
Sure. Thanks, Sean. So Exeter Resource Corp made this discovery back in 2007, and it's interesting. You might think of this as a older discovery, but that's one of the newest discoveries of these types of large gold copper deposits that have been made in recent times. The unique thing about this very large deposit, and if you look at it on its largest scale, it's about 40 million ounces gold equivalent. That is a very, very big deposit. About 65% of that would be in gold, about 35% in copper when you look at it on a mix of those metals. So still very highly sort of leveraged to gold. But what we've been doing as a company recently is, again, looking at the unique characteristics of this particular deposit. Not only is it large, but it has some very high-grade components attached to it. But first of all, it has an oxide gold deposit that sits on surface. It's about 1.7 million ounces of gold. It's relatively low grade, but very, very good characteristics to actually mine and process that material. And that would be a starter zone to the much larger deposit. And then what also it has is it has a higher grade core to this very large deposit. So the reason that that's important is that there's many different types of mining techniques around the world. And if you can concentrate on this higher grade core, where you remove fewer tons, but still get a large number of the ounces associated with it, you can have a much better deposit.
Because since you process higher grade core, that really lowers your costs. And you're still getting a lot of gold. It's like 23.5 million ounces. That would be equivalent gold ounces, but still, that's a really tremendous thing. And I've been following you guys since the early days of the discovery. I actually went down to visit that project, and it's gone through a lot of shifts back and forth. Of you guys have really worked on really trying to see the best way to really develop this, and you've done all sorts of things to it, and so now you really seem to have a plan in place to move this thing along, right?
Right, Sean. So for a company of our size, when you're dealing with such a large asset, we've chosen to push forward with advanced studies on that first phase project. That's that gold oxide heap leach project. So what we're doing today is we are doing a infill and expansion drill program. That's started several weeks ago. That's going to take the confidence levels even higher than they already are on that part of the deposit. We're looking at expansion of other what's called leachable material that sits below this oxide zone. So again, what we're hoping to do is to work on that first phase of the project, move it forward to final advanced studies or final feasibility studies, and then that opens the door to the much larger project to be developed thereafter.
Okay. Now, one thing that we should mention is this is not a lonely deposit. It's in a rich gold belt down in Chile, which Chile is a country, it's like as if you took hundreds of these long toothpicks of metal and twisted them around. It's a really rich place, and this is a gold belt within there. There are large deposits around there already being worked by these big major companies. So if, say, and this is pure speculation, but if, say, they wanted to fill the pipelines of projects we know they need to fill, yours would probably be one of the companies they would have to consider. Isn't that right?
Well, again, I think the way that I would put it is that, you go through your cycles of interest for all different types of assets in this business. But the very large deposits like this one, and even more so given its characteristics on how you can develop it, I think is very rare.
Mm-hmm.
So we, of course, as a company that controls one of these assets, we look at others that are available on the street. And I may be biased, but again, given our location, safe jurisdiction in Chile, road access, power corridor, we sit at a relatively high altitude of about 14,000 feet or 4,300 meters, but there's a big, broad plateau that has great, infrastructure capabilities. So from a mining standpoint, this is a deposit that sits in a very good location. And again, all of that combined translates to, I think, what could be an important deposit for us to develop maybe on a large scale, but someday potentially of interest to a major mining company. And again, I think what we've seen recently is the shift in the major, especially gold companies, going back to actually requiring large assets to fill their requirements.
Right, because they have a lot of production. They have to fill those. And you could buy a dozen small deposits, or you can buy one, and it's just much easier to run that thing. So that pretty much covers what I want to talk about. Is there anything else you'd like to add?
No, again, I think the key thing for interested parties is that we're a relatively small company. Our market cap today in U.S. dollar terms is about $100 million. We trade under the symbol XRA on the New York market, so it is available to U.S. investors. And again, we have a reasonable balance sheet today. We're pushing forward on this project. It's a rare project. It's scalable. And I think from a risk standpoint, being in Chile, it's a great place to be.
Excellent. Exeter Resource Corp, symbol XRA on the NYSE market, and has a great team. I've really followed these guys for a long time. They know what they're doing. They have actually spun off one project before, Extore, for a whole bunch of money. That one was a nice-looking project. So this team knows how to succeed, and it's one you want to keep on your list and probably take a closer look at as it moves forward down the path to production. Thank you very much for speaking to my folks. And
Thanks, Sean.
You folks stay tuned. I'll have more for you from the PDAC.